Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth. Make we reason. Make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va. No upper echelon. Nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica. Make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth. Make we reason. Make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva. No upper echelon. Nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica. Make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth. Make we reason. Make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va. No upper echelon. Nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica. Make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth. Make we reason. Make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va. No upper echelon. Nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica. Make we talk. Make we talk.
Good evening, wherever you're listening, watching from around the world and the Eastern Caribbean. Welcome to the edition of the Make We Talk program. This evening, it's a very somber moment, a very sad evening for me and for many Jamaicans around the diaspora, and I would say indeed around the world. We pause to remember one of Jamaica's distinguished one of Jamaica's distinguished son of the soil. A man who hailed from St. Elizabeth, Treasure Beach. I would call him a friend, a mentor, someone who you can call upon at the last given minute. He will say yes or he will say no. But when he comes on your program to speak to you, it's as if you're in a classroom where a teacher is teaching you, a professor is teaching you. And I learned a lot from Ambassador Ward. And tonight, as we celebrate the life and work and legacy of a distinguished Jamaican, an icon, I want to say to his wife, Miss Sonia, and family, we grieve with you. Our heart goes out to you, and we're praying for you and your family. But rest assured that our beloved and your beloved husband, our beloved Ambassador Ward, is resting in the arms of our Savior. Tonight, as we pay tribute, we have Miss Mary here with us again tonight. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you.
Talk to us about Ambassador Ward.
Oh, wow. Well, first of all, Miss Sonia, I just want to say it is such a deep shock, and I can imagine what you and the children are feeling tonight, and all of the family members that loved him. We loved him too, but you knew him best. And I understand it's a tremendous loss for you. And we are with you. We're supporting you. We're here for you. And we are grieving with you. And we just thank you for letting us have him as the leader of this diaspora. He was a great leader. And he's a son of Jamaica. He's a son of Treasure Beach, is how I will remember him. He loved Treasure Beach. He always talked about Treasure Beach. And he did so much to try to reconstruct it after the first hurricane. I forgot the name of that hurricane there last year.
Beryl.
Burial, right?
Yes.
He did so much with that, and then now again with this new hurricane that came. I mean, he was just tirelessly recruiting people to try and get supplies, and not just for his beloved Treasure Beach, but for all over, St.
The
Elizabeth,
entire Jamaica,
Westmoreland,
yes.
entire communities, Montego Bay, every community that was hit, he went out there and he was trying to actively recruit supplies. He raised money for generators. He raised money for all types of clothing, food stuff, everything. He talked about the
Mhm.
shopkeepers that, were about to lose their livelihoods and what we could do to keep the shopkeepers, to have things open up for them again. And it was just such an amazing, heroic effort for this man. And I was always in awe of him. Everything that you could think to do, he had already initiated it. And
Yes,
he reached out to so many people, and he always had an army of people to help him.
indeed.
As soon as he called, everybody would pitch in because Ambassador Ward called. So we're going to do the most. You didn't want to let him down because he was so active and he was so invigorated and he had a spirit such a spirit to him. I mean, I would not even have known, that he was somebody of an older age based on the way that he did so many things and the way that he raised money and the many times that he went to Jamaica on these missionary trips and so many things that he was involved in, a lot of philanthropic endeavors. And he did things that people didn't even know about because he didn't talk about it. A lot of things
Yes,
he did, he kept it quiet, and you just saw the things were being done, and you saw things coming into play. He never needed self praise, he never needed recognition, he never asked for that. He just loved Jamaica and all
yes,
Jamaicans, no matter party, no matter where you come from, as long as it was his homeland. He loved Jamaica, and he instilled that love in me, to look beyond, all of our little isms, schisms, and just look at
yes,
our homeland and wanting to rebuild it, wanting to get the diaspora back together again. That was his goal. And
indeed.
I pray that someday we will get to the place that he wanted us to be, and we will get to what he strived for to make him proud. Mm,
I last night I was in a group call with some friends of mine, and one of the person in that group call is his friend too. I speak none other than Wilfred Radigan,
mm,
and we're there chatting and everything. But as usual, I fell asleep. I always fell asleep on the group call, so I fall asleep and fell asleep. And at about 10 something, I got up. It was earlier. I got up 10 something. I got up. I was like, I checked my phone. I checked my phone. I saw he sent something to me about Ambassador Ward. So I said, what on earth is going on here? So I end up going on Ambassador Ward's WhatsApp group, and I saw it. I was, oh my God, you know, because I didn't get the chance to speak to him. I was on my program one evening, and as usual, I always give some joke and give some trouble on my program. And I was singing a song to Minister Desmond McKenzie about Desmond McKenzie, and he he said to me at the chat room, Jeffrey, are you having a night over here? And I laughed, you know. And to hear this morning that somebody who I look up to, somebody who I genuinely love, has passed, it really hurts.
mm,
It touched the very core. It really, really hurts to hear that somebody who, when you hear him speak, you know he's speaking from the bottom of his belly. The passion he has for his Jamaican people is no word. There's no word there to say it. There's no word there to say, hey, Ambassador Curtis Ward will always be a part of this program, and I'm sure a part of many Jamaicans who have encountered him, who have been a part of him, and to see or to hear that he has gone on, it's really hurtful. It's really hurtful. Tell me, what have you learned from Ambassador in all his being around him and listening to him speak about his beloved diaspora and his beloved Jamaica? What have you learned from him?
Well, I learned number one, impartiality. That's one thing. He did not care which walk of life you came from,
Mm-hmm.
and he was kind to everyone. So he taught me that, you'd have to just look at the people as a whole, look at the country as a whole, and put the country first, not yourself. Put the country, what is best for the entire country. Be impartial. Don't
Mm-hmm.
look at a particular group, a particular sect, or a particular area. He just said, just look at Jamaica as one big, beautiful set of people. And I started to do that because I had my own angst about certain places, certain people, certain things. And he just said to me, no. He said that's not the goal. He said the
Mm-hmm.
goal is always unity. That's one word that he used with me all the time was unity, you
Yes.
know? And sometimes then I'd get a little excited about something that was not really on the unity track. He'd say, remember, it's unity. That's cut that out. It's unity.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I
I
remember that.
want you to play a voice note sent to me by a former Jamaican ambassador, Loon Masamba. I spoke to Ambassador Samba this morning because she got up to hear the bad news about her dear friend. And I spoke to her this morning, and believe you me, she was really distraught to hear the news of Ambassador Ward passing. I want you to listen to something that Ambassador Luma Samba sent to us.
Jeffrey, I am sure that you are going to be speaking about the late Ambassador Curtis Ward on your program tonight, as I know what a good friend he was to you, as he was to me. So I'm sending you this voice note because tonight is not going to be good for me. I am in a state of shock, as I'm sure all of us who knew and love Curtis Ward would be feeling at this moment. You know, I had a good relationship with him, and our circles crossed in so many different ways and at so many different points that I feel as if I have lost a family friend. Ambassador Ward was such a diplomat. He was one of those rare Jamaicans who give and give and give even after he was in retirement. You and I knew of the work we've been doing with him in recent times and the kind of advice and mentoring that he provided to me, and I know he did to you. I am just in a state of shock. And I don't know what to say, but just to say that he was a consummate diplomat, a consummate public servant, and he gave everything he could to Jamaica. He will be missed. He will be missed by us all. And best wishes for your program tonight. I'm just so sorry I won't be hearing it.
Former Jamaican High Commissioner to London, another stateswoman that I look up to, Loom Asamba, giving her tribute on the passing of the son of Treasure Beach in St. Elizabeth, the son of the soil of Jamaica, who is recognized around the globe as somebody who you can sit and talk to, Ambassador Curtis Ward. For those who wishes to call into the program and to give your tribute to Ambassador Ward, the numbers to call 954-529-8030. You can call in. It's also a WhatsApp number. It's running across the screen down there. I'm going to play a video with Ambassador Ward speaking about his beloved Caribbean and his beloved Jamaica on the Ward Post.
Why do we celebrate our heritage in America?
Hey, good night. Make we talk. You're live.
Good night, Jeffrey. Good night to that beautiful lady.
Good night, Miss P.
Well, yes, as a person who watch you, part of your program, I've never met Kurt, the ambassador, personally.
Yes.
But just watching him on the TV and listening to the program, I have learned a lot. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot from him to geopolitics, how to operate, how this different system operate, what can be done, what are not to be done, what not supposed to be done, but however they do it, but this is the right way. And I listen and I learn. Even my little son, we listen and we chat and I say, wow, mommy, your man there, he knowledgeable man. And I say, yes, he's an ambassador. And he travels the world and he knows and all the different things where you guys teach. And I want to take this opportunity to say to his family, my deepest condolence to his family, wide and far, and to you, to Jeffrey, because you always talk. And I remember the night when he typed in the chat, Jeffrey, are you keeping a night? When he was singing. And he give all of us a laugh.
Yes.
And you know about him again? When you ask him some question, and he would say to you, say, yeah, Jeffrey, the answer not there right in front of you. What make you want me? I'm if you answer. He answer there right in front of you.
Yes.
I don't want to go say Curtis Ward said this, you know. But that is it.
Yes.
Because so and so can go and want to do so and so. That's what you're gonna get out of it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then you to tell us say in 19 so and so, such person from different country have launched that program, and through that initiative, this happened, and this me say, yo, why people have to die? Wow.
It's a road for all of us, you know, and when God
Yeah.
have us here on this earth, it's for us to learn from each other and have respect for each other. That when one
Yeah.
is gone, we can say, hey, Miss P has done a great lot for Jamaica, or Miss P has done for her community or something, you know? And
Yeah.
and for you, Miss P, who continue to watch this program, continue to be a part of this program, to call in to give your condolence to Ambassador Ward's family, I must say thank you very much. Because you,
Yes, man.
as you said, you have learned a lot from Ambassador Ward. And all of us has learned a lot from Ambassador Ward. Every single person who come across him have learned a lot from him.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember one night you were talking about the Vumba V and the Vumba Va. And he said, Jeffrey, don't make me bite my tongue. But you know from back then, that is what happened.
Yes.
And when it comes to the politics, it's those people vote,
Yes.
but it's not those people read the word.
True.
And people are not waking up. I remember that clearly. He said, Jeffrey, when the politics call, did you see anybody from up the top? Here, you the Vim Papa or the upper launcher. He said, Jeffrey, we never said that. The people up the top. Did you ever see any of them on bus? No. It's the ordinary people. But it's the same people get sick, or them family get sick, goes to the hospital and don't get help.
You
So
know,
what else you could want?
you know something, Miss P and Miss Mary.
Sir.
I remember Hurricane Beryl, and he was listening to the program. I'm not aware to me. I know he was listening to the program where some people from St. Elizabeth, in particular Treasure Beach, the roof went and everything. And I remember Ambassador Ward called me off here and said to me, Jeffrey, I was listening to your program and you're talking about this lady who wants a roof and everything. And he said to me, you're doing a great job. Because I said to the people on my platform, we need to raise some funds to help put on the roof of this lady. And I remember there was a lady there who had to have to be using oxygen. And she did an oxygen tank. And he heard about it. And he said to me, whatever you do, try and do your best to get rid of the oxygen tank. And when I came off the program, I called every single soul I know to assist in getting that tank. I called the member of parliament. I'm talking politics tonight, Floyd Green. And until now, don't want to hear anything from Floyd Green. Is this the Make We Talk program? Now, I'm not boasting or anything. But assist the lady and assist the lady with her roof. Those who are on this program. So sometimes behind the scene, you have some great people who will call and say, hey, Jeffrey XQYZ, and one of them is Ambassador Curtis Ward. Miss P, go ahead.
Yeah. I know you, Jeffrey. We know you. We see your heart. We can see it on you. We see the passion that you have. If you did have what it takes, this country would be a better place. And even for me, I wouldn't be another chapel in the same way. I certain.
True.
Okay? But God have a plan for all of us. And back to Ambassador, you have run your race. You have done us well.
Yes.
And may the angel continue to comfort you. And your name will forever call. And to his family, his children, his wife, just keep heart. God knows best. And God will comfort you. And please remember all his memories. Keep them to comfort you. And we pray you up. And sleep in peace, our dear Ambassador, Honorable Curtis Ward. Long live.
Thank you very much, Miss P. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
For those who wishes to give your tribute to Ambassador Ward, not talking politics tonight. I know a lot of you want to come over here and talk politics. Not tonight. We're speaking about a giant of a man, one of Jamaica's statesmen, who will sit and talk to the common man. He doesn't consider himself up there. He's one of Jamaica's Jamaica's elder statesman who, whenever you see him, always have that smile. Always have that smile. He greets you well. And the number to call is 954-529-8030. That's 954-529-8030. I'm going to play a video. And I believe this video here was done in Jamaica in Treasure Beach. I am not sure. Don't quote me on it. But I think he did his real talk from Jamaica at one point. And I want you to listen to what he's saying.
August. I am Ambassador Curtis Ward, and this is Real Talk. Of the 12 months in the year, the month of August has the most historic relevance to people of Caribbean heritage anywhere in the world. No other month holds comparable relevance and historic meaning for Caribbean people and Caribbean nationhood. Our history teaches us about who we are as Caribbean people. Here are some very important historical relationships that we as Caribbean people share among us that are common to the month of August, making the month very special in our history. For over 300 years of Caribbean history, from the early 16th century to the near mid-19th century, Africans were enslaved by the British in the British colonies.
One thing I can say about Ambassador Ward, sorry to be cutting into this, is that he has a wealth of knowledge of history. I want you to listen to this.
Throughout the region. The British Parliament enacted the Slavery Abolition Act of 1833, making the end to slavery in the Caribbean on August 1st, 1834. Emancipation of the enslaved people marked a turning point in our history. But emancipation, being a milestone in itself, did not end servitude for the enslaved population of the Caribbean. The ending of slavery was followed by a period of apprenticeship, which was abolished on August 1st, 1938. Thus, we celebrate August 1st across the Caribbean as Emancipation Day. But long before emancipation, there were many slave uprisings and rebellion. For instance, there was in Guyana the Demerara uprising of August 1823. It provided an impetus for abolitionists. The Demerara uprising, that is, helped hasten the emancipation of enslaved people in the British colonies. The Demerara uprising is celebrated in the month of August in Guyana. Another 124 years later, British colonial occupation of the Caribbean started to crumble. The two most populous and largest British island colonies, Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago, gained their independence in August 1962. The first to achieve independence was Jamaica on August 6, 1962, followed closely by Trinidad and Tobago on August 31st, 1962. It was the dawn of a new era in the history of the Caribbean and Caribbean nationhood. Yes, nationhood and freedom for English-speaking Caribbean people were given wings in the month of August. It also meant that the vast majority of English-speaking peoples of the Caribbean were freed from colonialism and could now chart their own course in global affairs. Yet another reason for elevating the month of August to celebrate Caribbean history and heritage.
There you have it, former Jamaican ambassador, the late Curtis Ward, giving a history about his Caribbean. And for those who were trying to figure out, Ambassador Ward died last night in the United States. He served as Jamaica's ambassador to the United Nations from 2000 to 2001. He was appointed by the former Jamaican Prime Minister and former President of the People's National Party, Percival James Noel Patterson, affectionately known as PJ Patterson. And he served Jamaica well. I have with me tonight Ms. Mary speaking to us about Ambassador Ward. Miss Mary, what is your encounter with Ambassador? Have you ever seen Ambassador at any time getting upset or?
No, I really can't say that I have because most times I've seen him, he's always, very affable, jovial, even with the political crisis that we've had now with Venezuela. He was concerned, but more from a statesmanly type of concern, a diplomat's concern, where he's telling us about the things that are going on behind the scenes and to watch out for these type of geopolitical moves that are going to be made. And he
Mhm,
called on these moves and he predicted the moves, and he started predicting some of these things from even months ago. And it was astounding to see it all come into play, just as he predicted. From
mhm,
his vast political experience, he knew exactly what steps are going to be taken, and he knew the root cause behind it, and what what the public was going to be told, even though it was not really so. And he just cautioned us to remain calm, even
mhm,
though some of us were upset, some of us were angry, but he wasn't angry. He just was like, well, this too shall pass. We will get behind, we'll get over this. He just always had a very calm, collected, cool presence. And I guess that's why he was a diplomat, because he could deal with any scene, any situation, in any climate. And that's
mhm.
why he traveled the world and met with so many world leaders that were always, not always as friendly to Jamaica, as they should have been. But he had the personality to deal with it.
And as they finish, when they finish um talking, they end up becoming Jamaica's friend.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And I mean, he has some, and he watching the clip reminded me of his vast knowledge. This man was a walking, talking, I call him an encyclopedia. There was never anything that you could not ask him about geopolitics and he did not know. And he rattled the dates off as if it was just yesterday. Sometimes I'd look and say, does he have an index card somewhere? Is he talking from an index card?
Yes.
He knew it all, and I mean it was just such an honor and a pleasure to be around him, and he was just so approachable, always happy, always with a smile and a firm handshake and a hug when you met him,
Yeah.
always. And I've seen him at so many events, be it political events, funerals, social events, you know I mean, he came to my daughter's wedding. I think it was back in 2018, and
Yes.
he even made a joke, and it was like an intricate kind of joke. You had to sit and think about it for a while before you could get it. And I said, "Look at him. He's even in the professorial mindset now, even
Mm,
when he's giving the joke. You
yes.
know,
Yes.
always showed up whenever you needed him to show up. Whatever you call him for, he was there as long as he was in town."
Mhm,
I remember when I got remarried in 2014. I was coming back from Jamaica, and I told him that my husband is not an American citizen, but I'm bringing him back and he's going to settle here with me. But I'm scared. I said, what if they stop us at the
mm,
airport, and what am I going to say? What am I going to do? He said, here, take my number. No matter what time of night you come in tonight, call me if you get any problem at the airport. And I was coming into BWI at Maryland.
mhm.
And I held on to that number, and I took up my phone when I came out, and when I saw the inspectors and the custom and borders and those people there. And thank goodness I didn't have to call him, but I had him on speed dial.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And I felt so much more comfortable knowing that somebody with some knowledge was going to be there that I could call on in case if I ran up on a problem.
Mhm,
That's the
mhm.
kind of man he was, looking out for his country people, looking out for the diaspora, all hours of the day and night. You could reach him.
I remember one day I was on this program here. I don't remember exactly what I said, But after the program was finished, he called me and said, "Listen to me, young man. I'm not going to tell you how to run your program, but you said something that is not nice." So I said, "What was the ambassador?" He said to me, I can't remember exactly what I said, but he said to me, "You must never let your listeners know what you think. Allow them to speak what they want to speak. But even if you think negative of that individual or whatever, don't let them know. You are a host of a program." And when he said that to me, I said to myself, you know what? And I go back and I start look on a lot of my programs, and I realize that I have been doing some stuff that's not right. And I try my level best from then to correct most of my programs when I go on. I must say good night to those who are listeners in the Cayman Islands and Cayman Mall Road TV. My sincere apology to my sister station over there in the Cayman Islands, Cayman Mall Road TV, to Sandy Hill, who allow me to broadcast on her platform. Thank you very much. To my other family members over there in the Cayman Islands, good evening to you. From North Side to Eastern to Borden Town to West Bay, Georgetown, Grand Cayman. Good evening. We're speaking about and tribute to former Jamaican Ambassador Curtis Ward, who served Jamaica at the United Nations from 2000 to 2001. He was appointed by former Jamaican Prime Minister P.J. Patterson. And there's another video I want to show you with Ambassador Ward. Let me see if I have it here. Where he speaks about his beloved diaspora. His beloved Jamaican diaspora he speaks about. And a lot of people may find this a bit, but based on how Ambassador Ward put this, honestly, it is something that we all can learn from it. And I want you to listen to what Ambassador Ward said. Here we go.
I'm going to talk a little bit about reimagining the role of the diaspora. Of course, we are dealing with Jamaica. Approximately 21 years ago, early 2004, I was asked by the late Delano Franklin, Minister of State with responsibility for diaspora affairs in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, to help draft terms of reference for the first diaspora conference to be held in Kingston. Selection to attend the conference was limited to 150 delegates, chosen primarily from diaspora leaders in Canada, the United Kingdom, and the United States. Many more wanted to attend. Since that time, not only has the format of the conference been changed, but the numbers of attendees have expanded significantly. The interests of both the diaspora and the country as a whole, not just the government of the day, characterize the original focus of the conference. Most importantly, it was not the increased numbers of conference attendees, but the conference content and focus, which changed from a consultative process between the government and the diaspora on how best to engage for the development of Jamaica, but it changed to the government and the private sector telling the diaspora how to engage. Diaspora interests were largely ignored, and the conference became not just a talk shop, but a sales and marketing event
Yeah.
at the Jamaican end.
Mm-hmm.
The current government, with minimal consultations, has imposed its own concept of diaspora engagement in the diaspora worldwide. The Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, hardly representative of the diaspora and effectively controlled by the government, with the foreign minister as chair of the GJDC, under no circumstances can the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council be considered an independent or representative entity. Any Jamaican who thinks otherwise is naive or living in fantasyland. The time for reimagining the role of the diaspora and its engagement with the government is long past due.
Mm-hmm.
But the changes required for effective engagement will not be effected by the government, at least not within the current policy framework. Meaningful and effective engagement can only be realized if the diaspora takes charge of its own destiny. The fact that reimagining the diaspora is on your agenda is testament to the need for change, which you have recognized. But recognition is only the first step. You must demand meaningful change to the current construct, and you must take it into your own hands to effect the change you want. To paraphrase Mahatma Gandhi, be the change you want to see. Change begins with you,
Mm-hmm.
members of the diaspora. Change begins with the Jamaica Diaspora UK. Don't wait for others to take the bold steps necessary to effect the change you want. Don't be afraid of being called partisan or being accused of supporting one political party over another. Don't allow political party affiliation to curtail bold action if you are a true patriot of Jamaica, dedicated to its noble ideals and defense of the mutual interests of the Jamaican people at home and in the diaspora. Don't be afraid to face pushback by those who defend the status quo and even benefit from it. They do not represent the vast majority of Jamaicans in the diaspora or at home. Through broad consultations across the diasporas, particularly in Canada, the United Kingdom, and the United States, you can collaboratively develop an action plan for effective engagement and change that has the support of your fellow diaspora members. It shouldn't matter if your conclusions or views are in sync with any of the two major political parties in Jamaica, or are contrary to the political interests of both or either party. Your focus should be what is in the best interests of Jamaicans at home and abroad. The time for recognizing the true effect of diaspora remittances to the economic survival of Jamaica and the respect that should come with such realization must drive the policies of both viable political parties in Jamaica and of the government in power at any time. Neither should the diaspora continue to be exploited by the private sector as a market for ethnic foods and money transfer services. Take note, an election will be held in Jamaica this year, and the diaspora must demand of each political party a clear enunciation of their plans and strategies for meaningful diaspora engagement. I want to suggest some of the changes which your plan should be focused on. 1. Meaningful participation in the governance of the country. This may take many different shapes or forms, but they must truly represent the desires, I would say demands, of the diaspora. Maintaining the status quo is no longer acceptable. This message must be clear, unambiguous, and unequivocal. 2. Members of the diaspora should not be discriminated against when entering Jamaica. Members of the diaspora are citizens of Jamaica and are not to be treated as foreigners. 3. Diaspora representation in the Jamaica Senate. This should be in each party's manifesto, and they must be highlighted at every opportunity, every political forum and platform. 4. Appointments of Jamaican diaspora members to serve on statutory boards. This lack of representation cannot be excused by how meetings can now be conducted. Virtual meetings are now engaging at every level, facilitated by advances in information technology. Your former speaker addressed you from Jamaica. I am addressing you here from the United States. Information technology allows board meetings to be held virtually. 5. Engagement of available diaspora expertise on service contracts by government agencies and bodies in the countries of residence of diaspora members. Examples such as JAMPRO and the Jamaica Tourist Board come to mind. 6. A full Ministry of Diaspora Affairs with effective representation of that ministry in every embassy and consulate and every city of high concentration of Jamaicans in the diaspora. 7. Establishment of a diaspora investment bond, which has been promised for several years to harness diaspora financial resources, particularly for development in health, education, youth empowerment, investments in small and medium enterprises, and in agriculture. 8. Engaging diaspora expertise in such areas as security and intelligence, in which Jamaican diaspora members have specialized expertise. These are not exclusive areas in which we should make demands, but perhaps this primary area in which diaspora engagement can be enhanced. This recommended list of subject matter engagement is not in any special order of importance or preference. Neither are these all my own ideas. Most of these ideas are not new. We just haven't taken the next step to implement them. They just have been pursued with commitment by successive Jamaican governments and also by diaspora organizations and leadership. They're all important to achieving meaningful and effective diaspora engagement and reimagining the role of the diaspora. It requires the political will of the government to make these ideas and concepts a reality. Thank you very much for the opportunity you have given me to make these comments.
Ambassador Curtis Ward, giving us his take on the Jamaican diaspora. You know, I sit there and listening to him. I remember when he come on very many programs with me. I remember a program he came on where he had was to defend his stewardship as ambassador because the current government had then an information minister by the name of Robert Morgan, who went on Roots FM and said that Ambassador Ward is a fake ambassador. And I, you know, I was supposed to host a program with him, you know, with Nestor Morgan, and it happened that my colleague Owen Brown did. And all when Owen Brown is saying, no. As a matter of fact, I can find that video, I can find this thing and play it. Then I find them play. Continue. You want to say something towards what he just said, Miss Mary?
Yeah, I was thinking about the diaspora convention in Jamaica that meets in Kingston biannually. And like he said, it was originally supposed to be to represent diaspora interests and
Right.
how you can get the interest to mesh with the people that are still in Jamaica and how we can improve the lives of Jamaicans in Jamaica and in the diaspora. So I attended one of them with him. As a matter of fact, this one was back in 2017. That was my first one, and he was there. And I came because I was representing Jamaica Nationals, which was Curtis Ward's um, organization that he started when he was at Howard University, Howard Law, I think it was. And as he said, it did not cover the things that we thought it was supposed to cover with topics benefiting the diaspora, benefiting Jamaicans, making their life better. It went on into a sales pitch where it was more like a sales of who wanted to come to Jamaica, open what business, and how they were going to sell the business to the Jamaican people. They had people there selling things like there was a doctor that came from America, wanted to come and do a medical spa, a surgical spa. And then there was another gentleman from England who had some communications, and he told us how he came and he sold it to the government for over however many millions of dollars. It was something like Flow. I can't remember the name of it, but it had some kind of service, satellite service like Flow. And, so I'm like listening to them and I'm saying, wait a minute, how is this benefiting the Jamaican people? People that cannot buy bread. People where, like in Hanover, where they have a ambulance. Someone mentioned there's an ambulance that was donated from a hospital in America, and it is sitting on the wharf now for 2 years, and they want the people to pay taxes to remove it. And the health minister at the time, the same gentleman we have now, Christopher Tufton, he answered the question and said, well, everyone has to pay taxes. And we were like, well, if it's given by America as a donation, why are you expecting the community leaders to pay taxes? And it's a dire need. The people need it. Isn't that what we're here to discuss, how we can meet the needs of the people? So, we quickly realized that this was not the forum that it had been billed at. It's more like a business forum where entities are coming together to launch their business. And they even told persons, come down here, all of you in the diaspora, come open a business, come open a business. But it still never told you the heart of the focus, which was supposedly, allegedly, how to improve the lives of those in Jamaica and those in the diaspora. And it was really sad and unfortunate.
Yes, I want to I was trying to download this thing here. Let me see something here.
Mm.
because I want people to. Maybe I can do it this way here. Hold a minute. Let me take off these from here. Let me go back to here and then go like this. Okay. All right. Let me. Oh Lord, can I do it this way? You know what? Let me do it from my phone. I don't think I can do it the way I wanted to do it. Let me do it from my
Mm.
phone.
Technology's a thing, huh?
Yep. I want you to listen to something here. There was a Ambassador Ward was speaking about Fin partners. You remember when the current Minister of Foreign Affairs put up her candidacy to run as Secretary General of the Commonwealth?
Mm-hmm.
All right, there was a big thing going on. And the then Minister of Information, Robert Morgan,
Yes.
went on Roots and the 6.1 FM because I'd invite him on the program. And there was a big thing on the program. Listen to what he said on the program. Listen to
I find it very challenging that a gentleman who parades around as an ambassador when he was a political appointee appointed in 2002 to a third level position at the United Nations expresses himself as an authority on foreign diplomacy.
But Mr.
When I
Morgan,
spoke
we see information in the documentation that he's a former ambassador of the years that he served.
No, you need to know what it is. In 2000 and about two.
And you know I won't go any further with this idiot?
Mm-mm. Don't even waste time giving people that toxicity.
I won't go any further with this idiot. Because until now he hasn't apologized. But based on what happened, you know, our beloved ambassador went and said this. And what ambassador said, if I was like this gentleman here, I would resign from politics.
Well, you'd have to have some shame and self-respect, which he's obviously devoid of.
Listen to this here. What's going on here? Okay, hold on a minute.
Secretary General, when the government knowingly and deliberately makes false statements to the public and is comfortable in believing no one will raise questions as to the veracity of those statements. Worse, if the government believes the people will be intimidated and remain silent when the government obfuscates and lies to the public.
Mm.
The government should not expect to betray the trust of the people with impunity. There must be transparency and accountability. As in the case of the funding of Foreign Minister Camilla Johnson Smith's unsuccessful bid to become Commonwealth Secretary General, the Honest administration not only withheld factual information from the public, but deliberately made false statements regarding the source of funding in its official statement to the public and in subsequent interviews by a cabinet minister. Said cabinet minister not only lied to the public, but attacked those who sought the truth. I am pleased that information rebutting the Honest government's untruths has surfaced, and the media, non-governmental organizations, including private sector organizations, and the opposition party, are raising questions and demanding the truth. Neither the Prime Minister nor the Foreign Minister can continue to remain silent. They must come clean. As it is, the Foreign Minister's credibility is compromised. And as long as she serves in that post, so is Jamaica's foreign policy and international credibility.
The late
Mm.
Ambassador Curtis Ward.
Wow, our warrior king.
I tell you something, you know. When the whole thing came up with Fin Partners, the number to call is 954-529-8030. As the same make we talk numbers, the number to call in to pay tribute to Ambassador Curtis Ward is 954-529-8030. When the whole thing came up with Jamaican foreign policy, you know, he was the only person who got up
Mm-hmm.
and he thought hard against what is going on and said Jamaican foreign policy is at risk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did.
And it's still at risk based on what
Oh
is
yes.
going on.
Oh yes.
You
Because
know?
when he first mentioned it, I didn't quite grasp it, and I was like, "Well, how are we in at any risk? You know, this doesn't have anything to do with us." But then later on, now I saw it that now it's a Caribbean thing. It's gonna proliferate into the whole Caribbean now. And he
Indeed.
foresaw that. He foresaw it and he spoke about it. And that's why I said I always look at him as our political warrior king. He speaks up and he speaks so eloquently and from a place of true knowledge. So anybody who is going to call him a pseudo ambassador or say he's not a true one, that person's is just an uninformed novice and probably.
That is that idiot who was a minister of information, Nestor
Well,
Morgan.
clearly, he didn't get much information on to minister about because
Yes.
this man has more wealth of a knowledge than he ever could. And any topic in the world you can expound on, he would. He was still teaching up until right before he died. He was still teaching, still giving people knowledge, was still training people to come and take over. Because that was one of the things that, he was concerned about was who is going to take over when people like him they go on, where will the country be? Who is going to stand up for truth and righteousness, justice in Jamaica? And we're still grappling with that right now. We're still trying to make sure that we have the right people that we're grooming, but we have to teach the people. It all starts on education. We have to educate every Jamaican as to the truth of where we want to go and where we came from and what our goals are. We have to educate.
Let me ask you this question here. Ambassador Ward has transitioned home to his maker. Who you think we can call upon now in the diaspora to give us wise wisdom of both foreign diplomacy and diaspora problems that we're facing in the diaspora here now? Because
Boy,
many of us don't understand that the diaspora is run by the Jamaican government, not by the members of the Jamaican diaspora.
Mm-hmm.
The government of Jamaica run the diaspora.
Yeah.
And until we can run a diaspora for ourselves and don't account to anything in with the government,
Mm-hmm.
we'll never be the united front that we want to be.
Yeah.
So, like our Ambassador Ward was always there for us in the sense that we can call on him and say, Ambassador, what do you think about this? What should we do and whatever? Who you think now we can call on?
Boy, that's a tough one. That's a very tough one because there's one or two that might come to mind, but I don't know if they would even be willing to put themselves out there. I don't know that they'd be willing to make that type of time and that commitment. I mean, it's very difficult. I mean, I'm thinking about Ambassador Basil, that's in New York, but he's all the way in New York, so I'm not sure. That's one name that comes to mind because we've had some discussions, he and I. He used to be he used to be up at the consulate general there in New York City, where Allison Roach, unfortunately, she just passed away.
Yes. Hold on for me. I have Dr. Rupert Francis in line. Dr. Francis?
Yes, good afternoon, good evening, Jeff. How are you?
Good evening, sir. I have Dr. Rupert Francis, head of the Jamaican Crime Prevention Task Force. and head of the Global Jamaican Diaspora Council. Dr. Francis,
Yes.
your take on the passing of Ambassador Curtis Ward.
To be quite honest with you, it's very difficult for me because I consider it a great loss to have someone like this passing at this time. Not that that is not a normal thing, but or for a person to pass on. But the fact of the matter is that to lose a stalwart like him at this time is very, very difficult to
Yes.
comprehend, because he was doing such a great job over the years. I've known him, and the things that he was doing, he continued to do them, and he was really top class. He knew what he had to say. He knew how he had to say. He had the training, the education, the experience of any ambassador, any man, any woman of Jamaica, because he loved Jamaica so much and he gave so much. We were in JASO together. We have appeared on a number of shows and a number of events, both in Jamaica and here in the United States. And I've always had him, listen to him, what he had to say, and learn from him during the interim. The last time we had a very long talk, was when there was this election the other day, and we went through it. And the beautiful thing about it is that he always had something positive to say, and he always knew his stuff. And I just had to say to myself, how could he write so much? He has a show on, he has maybe one or two on the radio, and at the same time, he finds wonderful things to research and to give to us. I've seen several articles during my many years on this platform, where he wrote in the Gleaner, the Observer, everywhere, and he was very direct. He was, in fact, a statesman. As far as I'm concerned, they may think that it is hero worship, but if we had more people like Ambassador Ward, this not only Jamaica, but this world would be a better place, and certainly the Caribbean. Well known. Absolutely.
Dr. Francis, I just asked Miss Mary this question. I'm going to ask you the same question. Yes. Ambassador Ward was a person who you can go to and talk to him about anything. There's problem looming in the diaspora because of this diaspora election that's coming up. And many of us know that the diaspora, the global Jamaican diaspora, is run by the Jamaican government.
Yes.
It's not run by members of the Jamaican diaspora. And it is not registered. Like how Ambassador Ward, we could go to Ambassador Ward and speak to him. Who you think we can go to right now to get wise words from?
I'm not laughing. I'm laughing in grief, so to speak, because not many people have the quote unquote gonads that he had, because he would tell you like it is. And to be quite honest with you, I've seen some articles recently, written about the situation, and I do think that under what is happening right now with Melissa having ravaged the country and so many things that are happening, it was really be a good thing to I think put it off a little bit, put it more off if they have to have one. And certainly Jamaica as a country should not be heading the diaspora. The diaspora is the diaspora, Jamaica is Jamaica. We are brothers and sisters, and so, but at the same time, there's no other country, let anyone name them, that are controlling the Jamaican diaspora as Jamaica is right now. And many people may say that, you are upset about this and upset. Nonsense. The fact of the matter is that you have a Jamaican diaspora. We should be able to work together, and we should be working together both in Jamaica and here. But the Jamaican government cannot have a president, cannot without standing on the diaspora. And it is quite clear. Whether you are this side or the other side, it does not matter. The fact of the matter is we must encourage people to be autonomous in the diaspora, as he advocated many times. When we had our meeting in Mora, Georgia, all over the place, he was there and he spoke to that idea that we should be independent. And that's what we should be independent, because we're independent. You know, and not because we want to be independent, but because we want to work with Jamaica or any other country in a co-relationship that is respectful, and it should not be chosen by another group, and so that we can be influenced by whatever it is. And this is quite clear that nobody should be worried about that or what have you. I know a lot of people have said that over the years. I mean, the past year or so, you've been silent and all that. That's fine. I've been silent, but that doesn't mean I've listened. I listen to what the people are saying. And those who want it that way they either have an axe to grind or they want some status of some kind for themselves. This is really sad. It would be a tragedy and a travesty to the legacy of Ambassador Ward and people like him if we were to continue down that road. You know, we love Jamaica and we want to see Jamaica do well. Everybody to do well, regardless of what the colors you may wear. And so we just want to make sure that the country meets its goals and what have you. And we should show it. Look at the since Melissa came, and look at the outpouring of the diaspora and other all over the world, right? All over the world. So why then we didn't ask any permission to do this or permission to do that? No, we are who we are. We are sons and daughters of Jamaica, and we should be respected as that.
Hold on for me, Dr. Francis. Miss
Yes.
Mary, I know you have to go, so I want to say, give us your final word before you go, Miss Mary. I want to finish talking to Ambassador Dr. Francis, but give us your final word. Dr. Francis, hold the line for me, please, sir.
Yes.
I'm just so grief-stricken and just shocked by Ambassador Ward's passing. And there's never going to be anyone else like him, no matter where we choose or who we choose. He's one of a kind. He was a true son of the soil. He was a stalwart for justice. He was a stalwart for the people of Jamaica. And he was an outspoken, knowledgeable, awesome, amazing giant of a man. And there will never be another person to walk in his shoes that way. And we love him and we appreciate all that he gave to us. He gave us his life. And we thank him so much. And we love you. We love you. God bless.
Thank you very much for coming on to the program. Thank you so much for giving your tribute to Ambassador Curtis Ward.
All right.
Thank you.
Love you, everyone.
Love you too.
Reverend Margaret,
Yes, sir.
I must
Go
say
ahead.
thank you
Go
so
ahead
much
for
for
me,
that.
Dr. Francis.
Yeah, I must say thank you to Laverne for that. I'm sorry I couldn't come on earlier. She was really prodding me to come on, but unfortunately my computer is not working as it should right now. But at the same time, you did get me, so that's more important. What's important right now is to salute, as she just said, salute Ambassador Ward, his family, and he has a family and a great wife and children and what have you, and he stood up all those years and did what he had to do. How many people are like that? He's a patriot, a real son of the soil, a real icon, and I cannot, we may not think alike, we may not believe in the same things, but we do believe in God, I can assure you. He was a big churchman and so on and so forth. And but I do say that he really represents the really soul of Jamaica. If I were to give him an athletic award, it would be the Usain Bolt Award, being one of the strongest, if not the strongest. Well, we do have other, outstanding people who came out of Jamaica, but certainly he's among them, and nobody can take away that from him. Absolutely, irrevocably, and he would not stop. No matter if he was ill or not, he would still be out.
I'm showing on the screen right now, Dr. Francis, Ambassador Curtis Ward, his wife, and the late Colonel Powell.
Yes.
One of Jamaica's son also.
Yes.
In a photograph here with Ambassador Ward and his wife at a function.
Yeah.
Dr. Francis, as you're on the program here now, sir.
Yeah.
Based on all that Ambassador Ward has done for the diaspora,
yeah,
what do you think the diaspora should do for Ambassador Ward now?
I think that we should do something specific that we could celebrate on a yearly basis. And going forward, we should really encourage participation from persons like him throughout the diaspora. There's so many people in the diaspora that have really got the, what should I say, the know-how, the expertise, and the same type of, but they want to, but many people want to, but they do not want to be involved in politics. And you know what's amazing with Ambassador Ward? Although he knew politics back and forth, he never engaged in it per se. He would give you his opinion, which you might not like, but certainly. So I think that we need more people who are leaders like him. You know, he was born to lead. He was a leader. He still is a leader, and his legacy should be imprinted in the archives, not only of the diaspora but in Jamaica. Okay, I can't tell anyone who is in power or what have you what to do, but I would encourage them to salute this gentleman and to salute people like him who have given their time, their effort, their funds, everything. And it's not a joke. They were not looking anything. They were not seeking to be noticed. They weren't, in fact, noticeable and stood out among all the persons that I have known in my time in the United States and Jamaica. Is just as important. And it's very important because the diaspora is important to Jamaica. Very important. So we have to salute him. And it would be the best thing for our country, our government president, government to recognize this man as the strong person that he is for the diaspora and make his name stand out going forward as a legacy to the entire movement of the Jamaica diaspora movement. That's what I would say. And I can't tell anyone what to do, but I encourage all those persons who are listening to listen carefully. And let us also join hands and hearts here and stop. We have to look at each other and say to ourselves and evaluate ourselves and say, are we willing to speak to the truth to power? You know, a nation is judged by how we treat the least among us. And it's just not something I'm talking about, something that I've enjoyed myself and I've done myself. And you and many others who are listening today can attest to that. You may not like everything that the person says. You may not want to be a member of so-and-so as the person did, but you can do your part. Look at what happened in Melissa. To me, the real champions of the current Melissa situation is the people who came in, the Jamaicans who came in spite of all that is happening in the world, and gave their all and are still doing it. And we can call names if we want to. We can call names because they are out there. People are out there too. Dr. Dunkley and, people like that who are out there on the, getting chance and moving the people forward and putting two and two together. Let me tell you something. This is really something else because I've not, although I've not been on your forum a lot, I kind of stayed away because I kind of be a little bit controversial sometimes. And I remember when I first sent in a response on the thing, and I remember and he read it. He said, "Well, he sent me a private note. Just remember, it has to be short." Come on. There it is. I was trying to do my thing with him and so on, and he was not blushing when he said
Dr.
it.
Francis,
Yes.
in all that we are saying here tonight on the Make We Talk program,
Yes.
What sort of legacy are we gonna leave behind? Ambassador Ward has left a legacy behind that is like none other.
Yes.
But what sort of legacy are we going to leave behind? Where the diaspora is divided as the Parliament of Jamaica?
Well, let me say this to you. First of all, this gentleman was a lawyer, a really good lawyer.
Yes.
This gentleman was a professor. This gentleman became the spokesperson for the entire Jamaican diaspora, the Caribbean diaspora, and the world. He was not afraid to take on issues. So I think we could learn something from his experience. What we have to do is, a lot of people said to me, why do you care so much about your, I mean, I'm just not going to want it to be personal, but I'm just going because I can talk from my own person. Why do you care so much about what happens in Jamaica? Well, you know, I think that that's what we should do, because the Bible tells us to train up a child in the way it must grow. And when it is old, it will not depart therefrom. I and I take that very, very seriously. And I think that all Jamaicans should take it very seriously. The reason I think that you know, that we are strong. I mean, it's for a nation as small as us, and to have these persons who have come out and they are, you know, oh my God, they just recently this guy was given the post of being in charge of all the schools in New York. And we have a lot of people, they are bold. We have a number of people I could call Dr. Dump, all of those persons who have taken on huge jobs, huge commitments. You know, you have the consular generals, you have the consuls, the other persons in I can't call everybody's name, you know, and you still have people partaking. I noticed that Ambassador alone would always on this platform, for example. So, you know, and we must tie in what we're doing here with what we're doing in Jamaica, and we must be respectful, and we must observe and so on, and talk and develop strategies, a vision, a mission for what the Jamaica diaspora should be. And I think that's what we ought to do, and forget the differences, you know, or perceived differences that we have, and work together. That's what we ought to do, you know. And we have a great presence on Facebook, on all the social media, all that. So we should use that to boost our children. The key to all of this, my friend, I think, is to make sure that we look after our children. And if we put this type of evidence in front of them, show the trajectory that Ambassador Ward did and what he is doing and has done, then if we show them, then, you know, we'll move forward again and continue to be strong throughout the world in every aspect as a Jamaican.
Yes. Dr. Francis, I want to ask you about the Global Jamaican Diaspora Council.
Yes.
How is it going? Is it pushing for a better diaspora, like how Ambassador Ward was pushing for a better diaspora? Is it pushing for a better diaspora now?
Listen to me. There are a lot of good people in there, and I'm not going to speak ill of anybody at all. You know, I've seen some great work by members of the persons who are in leadership. I have seen some, and to be quite honest with you, it's a good trajectory. But they need to come together. We need to join fences, because there are some in a particular area, and there are some in another area. We have to join fences, join our put all our resources, you know, mental, physical, whatever, into and work together. Because we cannot do it like separate and equal. No, we want to be together. You know, we want to be together. Okay?
Okay. I don't know what happened there. Ambassador Ward, sorry, Dr. Rupert Francis just got cut off. I'm not the one who did it at all. Dr. Francis, you got disconnected for what reason? I don't know. You got disconnected from the program, Dr. Francis. Let me say something to those people on the platform here. I'm not talking politics tonight. I'm paying tribute to Ambassador Curtis Ward. So we're not talking about police killing and all sort of thing. The number to call into the program is 9545298030. Dr. Francis, you got disconnected. I don't know what happened. You can call back 9545298030. That's the number you called into earlier on. We're speaking to Dr. Rupert Francis. Let me see if I can get a hold of Michelle Tolonil. So we can get a hold of her. Michelle, good night. Good night. Are you still driving?
Yes, I am.
But just a quick word. Can you give us your tribute to Ambassador Curtis Ward? About 5 minutes. Go ahead, please.
Oh, most certainly. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. So I am usually a follower of Ambassador Ward for years. I always read his stuff. I learned from it. And after I won the Diaspora Council representative for the Northeast, I was in Washington, and then we got to meet face to face. And I must tell you that every time I saw him, he had some words of wisdom for me, no matter how brief it was. But he wanted to make sure I always spoke my truth, and whatever I believe in, I need to stand by it no matter what. And that's something that I will always take with me. One thing I loved about him was that he was totally honest. You might not always agree with him, but he'll also tell you why he take that route, and he'll always give you the history behind his decision. So for me, it is just a great loss. And yeah, it's just a great loss to not only to me but entire diaspora.
Yes, you represent Ambassador Ward too in Washington, eh? In Maryland.
Yeah, well, yes, I do. Absolutely, yes. And so every time I go to a function in Maryland, he's always there, because I saw him last year at the last Baltimore Gala. He was there as well. And every time I'm in Washington, for some reason, we always seem to bump into each other. So I have so many pictures of us, because every time we go somewhere, he's like, "We're gonna take a picture, right?" Because he was very nice, he was very respectful. I didn't walk away feeling less of a person. He always left you with your dignity intact, and he was just a wonderful human being.
That's Michelle O'Neill, the representative of is it the Northeast Division of the United States Jamaican Diaspora?
That is correct, Mr. Tavares. Yes.
Yes. Thank you for calling into the program to give your tribute to Ambassador Curtis Ward.
Yes, and I just wanna just say a quick prayer and let his family know that I am thinking of them. All of us are thinking of them, and we are praying for them during this difficult time. But he's definitely a loss, not only to diaspora, but to Jamaica as a whole. Thank you very much for this opportunity to just give my 2 cents.
Thank you very much, Michelle O'Neill. Thank you for calling in. Good evening, Make We Talk, you're live. Head boy?
Hi, Jeffrey, can you hear me?
Yes, good evening, you're live. Go ahead.
You know, I would never miss this opportunity to extend condolences to the family of Ambassador Ward.
Yes.
I want to say, if there was anybody who got me interested in international affairs, it would have been Ambassador Ward.
Yes.
And his very good friend, Ambassador Byron Blake. Yes. Who they shared a good relationship. And I had at time immemorial had interactions with Ambassador Ward and Ambassador Byron Blake. But I want to say we have lost a true champion of Caribbean democracy and a true champion of not just Jamaica's policy, but his view was he was a Caribbean national. He was a champion of Caribbean affairs. And I think we have lost an indelible, his loss would make an indelible mark on our foreign affairs section. And I really believe that there are many lessons now that we could have learned from Ambassador Ward that we need to go back and look at it and document some of those history. His voice would surely be missed. His voice was that of credibility, and his views were views that were not taken lightly, not just in Jamaica, not just in Washington, but right across the region. And, you know, we have lost a champion, and I'm sure that we should be hearing something from Ambassador Sir Ronald Saunders, who had a lot of interaction with him. I spoke earlier on to somebody in the embassy here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and they have had interaction with Ambassador Ward, and they will be issuing their statement as well from Foreign Affairs. So the man has made a mark. He was not just a son of Jamaica, he was a son of the Caribbean. And so we want to commend him, commend his family for lending him to Jamaica. And even up until his death, he was still sharp. Yeah?
Head boy, you are so correct because I don't know if you are aware of a song that I was singing on my program to Uncle Desmond Mackenzie.
Yes, I remember just the other day.
Yes. And Ambassador Ward was in the chat room asking me for having a night.
He was very sharp, even up until when little bit before the issues started, the actual invasion started in Venezuela. He was out there speaking.
Yes.
Talking about the issues. So we have lost a good friend, and not just a friend of the Caribbean, but Ambassador Ward was also a friend of this program.
Yes.
And I want to, an ardent listener.
Oh, yes.
From what I gather, right? And not only him, I don't want to call anybody name, but there are other persons that was in the circle that used to listen as well. Yeah. And so we want to thank him. We want to thank him for his service. And I am of the view that the gentleman should be accorded a state funeral. He has served us well, and he should be accorded. He should be treated in like manner. Yeah.
We hope they do. I don't know if the family will acknowledge it, but let us see. And I pray and hope that, his wife, Miss Sonia, and the family are taking comfort in what they're going through and knowing that Ambassador Ward was loved and he has served, as I said before, the people of Jamaica and the people of the Caribbean very well.
And as I go, Jeffrey, I just want to say, I want to say to everyone and to his family that the difference between mourning and mourning is you. And so whilst they mourn, that there will be a light and that there will be and the satisfaction that they should have from the life of Dr. Ward is that Ambassador Ward was such a tremendous person, and we thank them for lending him to us. And as he goes on to be with his Savior, we pray that his journey will be easy and that he will find himself in the right place. All the best to you, brother.
Indeed, my friend.
And keep up the hard work.
Thank you very much. Head boy,
cheers.
One of the co-producers of this program, giving his take on Ambassador Curtis Ward is being remembered as a distinguished son of the soil who have served Jamaica with care and integrity. And for what many of us may say, that Ambassador Curtis Ward was one of the persons who was a no-nonsense person, who continued speaking truth to power and continue to speak out for the poorer class of Jamaicans. Let me call back. I see where Dr. Rupert Francis was calling us. Let's call back Dr. Francis here and have him speak to us. Dr. Rupert Francis, head of the Jamaican Diaspora Crime Prevention Task Force. So we can get him back online here.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Dr. Francis. Sorry about that. You got cut off a while ago. Yes, we were asking you about the hold on for me, please. What's going on here? Yes, we were asking you about the Global Jamaican Diaspora Council.
Yes.
And also, I don't know, is it registered as yet?
The council is not. You see, first of all, I don't know. It's certainly not registered in the United States by the Jamaican government or whoever it is.
Go ahead.
It's not, because that's not going to be the case. It's not going to happen. I don't think so. They can't use that name. That name has been covered.
Okay, so
it was done from previously, and there's nobody who has tried to rationalize the using of it. And my view is that it could be rationalized, but I think we would have to have some discussions about it and come to some conclusions, and which would include all the parties. And I think that possibly good sense will prevail. I think Dr. I think Ambassador Ward would agree with something like that, and that would be something that would be we could do in memory of his legacy. Because when it was done, he was certainly privy to what was being done, and he had, didn't have. I can't give you any specific words that he would have used because that would be confidential. But at the same time, I think that he would agree wholeheartedly with the fact that we in the diaspora feel that way. Patrick Beckford just wrote a very strident article recently about the whole matter, and other persons have written about it as well too.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you? And then the worst part I saw somewhere where guidelines were being put to these things as to how can Jamaica give us the guidelines to what we do in the United States of America? I just don't understand. We know we're citizens of Jamaica, but we don't have the ability to be dual citizens. Really, I'd love to have one and to do that, but right now that's not possible. So therefore, we have to follow the rules and regulations of the United States of America, or wherever we are. And I think people should understand that and should frame whatever they're doing around that. You're very smart people, in Jamaica, in government and opposition and what have you. There should be some degree of understanding about this matter.
Mm-hmm.
We should allow it to get out of hand at all. I mean, let's just go back about a year ago or so. Of course, things were done, and certain things were being looked at. But unfortunately, since all of that went under, so to speak, then we have not had any discussions about it.
Mm-hmm.
We should discuss because we're brothers and sisters, regardless of what happened previously.
Yes.
To my view, and I think that would be a great thing to memorialize Ambassador Ward with, to show that we really respected what he gave to us and how he stood up for Jamaica.
Mm-hmm. For those who are just joining us,
yes,
we're speaking to Dr. Rupert Francis, head of the Jamaican Crime Prevention Task Force in the diaspora, and we're paying tribute to former Jamaican ambassador to the United Nations from 2000 to 2001, Ambassador Curtis Ward. He hailed from the parish of St. Elizabeth, the district of Treasure Beach. A lot of Jamaicans are aware of Ambassador Ward, and he has been on this program on many occasions. And
yes.
I'm sure many of my students, as what Miss P just called in and said that, and head boy, that he will be truly missed. His wise wisdom, his wise words on this program and many other programs, on and off programs. He has been on many programs in Jamaica, many radio stations in Jamaica, and television stations in Jamaica. His wisdom and his wise words will be missed. Dr. Francis, as we go off air now, it is now 8:13. Tomorrow we'll be having the next program. We're gonna have hopefully we're gonna have the opposition spokesperson on foreign affairs and foreign trade to come on, and other people to give their tribute to Ambassador Ward. Hold on for a minute. Yes, we're gonna as we come off air now, Dr. Francis.
Yeah.
I want you to wrap up and tell us not in so many words. What have you learned from one of Jamaica's eldest statesmen of all time?
Well, honestly, I've learned how to do things I learned how to be a leader from people like Ambassador Ward.
Yes.
I learned how to lead. I learned how to empathize. I learned how to be respectful. I learned how to frame my language, what I do, what I say, how I do it, how I say it. His professionalism is amazing. I mean, I sat into rooms with him for hours in the Jasso. He never raised his voice. He was stern. He kept things in order. He kept things balanced. He didn't take anything personal. And I've never heard him demean anybody else. We have a tendency as we move forward in life to sort of look back on people and what have you. No, we don't do that. We try not to do that. And to me, I learned a lot from him. And, one of the things, I was a military policeman, as you know, And the fact of the matter is that our motto was exemplo ducimus. By example, we shall lead. And he led by example. He led by example. He's a really an outstanding Jamaican. Out of many, one people was tall, he was strident, and he kept his word, and he still believed in God, and he did, and do all the things. I have never heard somebody say anything untoward about Ambassador Ward. Yes, he can be stern at times. Yes, he can be, when he wants to hold on to it, he's not going to let go. He's like a pit bull, I would say, if you want of a better word. When it comes to things like that, when it comes to your integrity, when it comes to empathy, that sort of thing, I think that we could learn a lot from this gentleman. And I think that we should memorialize him in that respect and have something out there to memorialize him as we move forward, to tell children all of the greats that came from Jamaica and been doing great. We should be telling them why and how they came from. Because you say he came from St. Elizabeth. And right now, St. Elizabeth is underwater already, and a lot is going through. So we should say, no matter where you come from, you are a Jamaican and you can do what you have to do. And I say that's the best words I could use this evening to memorialize that gentleman who deserves every credit that you can possibly do. And because he has done it, he's never asked for pay, he's never asked for accolades. And my God, yes, he did it. And he did it his way. And I want to say I respect him for that, to being a Jamaican icon. Basically, that's what I would say.
Yes, Dr. Rupert Francis, head of the Jamaican Crime and Prevention Task Force. For the person in the chat room, 9679. It seems as if you don't understand English. I am not talking about politics tonight. I am speaking about somebody who we truly love and care about.
And love.
So if you want to speak about Ambassador Ward, please go ahead. But don't come over here and believe I'm going to switch my conversation to what you want to speak about.
Yeah. You see, unfortunately, let me add there, Jeffrey. There are people out there who still don't understand. They are not led, they are driven by negativity. Okay? They don't understand that we have been divided and we are being ruled. And these people don't understand. That's not about politics. Everything is not about politics. Everything is not about religion. Everything is about, yes, we believe in God Almighty. And we must treat those that are least among us, that's what we should do. But unfortunately, we do not. We want to hear our view. We want to talk about what people are doing. But they're not telling the truth. What about that? What about integrity? Come on. We need to get out of that.
If you want to know, as we come off, if you want to know about police killing, you can file an ATI to the Commissioner of Police and to the Ministry of National Security, and you'll get the answer that you want. Not on this program tonight. Dr. Francis, thanks for coming on, sir.
You're welcome, my friend. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you. Dr. Rupert Francis, head of the Jamaican Diaspora Crime Prevention Task Force, head of the Global Jamaican Council, Diaspora Council. I want to say thank him for coming on to the program. I want to say thanks to Laverne Myrie for coming on. And we want to say to the family of Ambassador Dr. Curtis Ward that we're praying for you, and our hearts go out to you. And may God let you find comfort in your time of bereavement. I don't know who this idiot is, but I think I had enough of you. I want to say thanks to all those who make this possible tonight. Thanks to Kim and Monroe TV. Thanks to the producers of this program. Thanks to those who call in. Until you hear my voice again, I am Jeffrey Tavares saying so long. May God bless you. May God continue to bless our island home, Jamaica land we love. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Make We Talk Jeffrey Tavares YouTube channel. Yes, like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. We are not getting the numbers that we used to get, but that's okay. Good night, everybody. Have a great night.
Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk.